On September 7th, rap's controversial bad boy, Tupac Shakur, was gunned down in Las Vegas. Since then, police have uncovered very little information. Even Tupac's closest friends and associates at the scene of the crime say they don't know anything. Well, our correspondent, Lena Nozizwe, has gotten inside the investigation.
The lights of Las Vegas reflect a town born as a gangster's dream. Now it holds the secret of a gangster rapper's death.
So now I got a full way floating in my black bin, trying to do a show a day. They wonder how I live with my time.
As a performer, Tupac Shakur often lived out the fears of his life in the fiction of his videos.
Alright, call him and tell him that the patient's DOA. He's gone.
Including his last one, where he goes to heaven after being shot.
I can't even lie, cause I ain't laughing at you. You trying hard to maintain, but go ahead, cause I ain't mad at you.
An eerie prelude to the real-life violence that was played out on the streets of Las Vegas September 7th. On this night, Tupac was staying at the exotic Luxor Hotel for the boxing match featuring Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Tupac and Suge Knight, president of Death Row Records, visit with fans. Note Tupac's gold medallion. It's not only eye-catching, but sources say it may be a clue to his murder. But Tupac got into a fight of his own as he was leaving the MGM Grand. Who was actually throwing punches?
It's hard to tell. It's like a pile of people.
In this never-before-seen surveillance video, moments after the brawl, an agitated Tupac and Knight race out of the casino. Their quick exit attracts a larger and larger crowd. Later, the mood was more festive on the Strip as Tupac and Knight led a convoy of luxury cars filled with associates and friends, all potential witnesses to an approaching white Cadillac carrying an assassin. This photo was taken just minutes before the ambush.
Suge Knight and Tupac eventually end up in this travel lane here. The bodyguard and the three other people with him are in the car behind him. Cadillac pulled up alongside and opened fire right here.
As many as 12 automatic rounds blast through the passenger side of their black BMW. The rain of bullets strikes Tupac 5 times. One shot even slices part of the gold ring off his finger. With Tupac mortally wounded, Knight makes a hard U-turn off in the other direction.
Mama, I ain't happy here. I've been traveling and smashed for a couple of years.
Tupac died 5 days later. He was 25. In this first interview since the murder, Las Vegas detectives tell of their continuing frustration investigating what's become their most notorious case.
Close friends, close work associates that have not talked to us or don't want to talk to us or are withholding a lot of information that could help us on this.
One of those close friends, they say, is Suge Knight.
He's hands-on witness. He's 2 feet away farther than Tupac, and he sees nothing.
Has he been cooperative?
I would say no. But we spent 3 days trying to get him here. I mean, this is a guy joined at the hip with Tupac.
He says that he's his brother, and he wants to solve this case.
Maybe a half-brother. He didn't try too hard.
One theory is that the shooting involved East Coast-West Coast rivalry of the rap music industry, but investigators don't think so.
That East Coast, West Coast stuff was a lot of hype. Las Vegas homicide. I got a message here that you called. It says it's involving the Tupac shooting.
America's Most Wanted has learned what may be the key to this mystery, a struggle over some very expensive jewelry. Sources say what triggered the fight in the hotel lobby can be traced to an earlier incident that happened here at the Lakewood Mall near Los Angeles. They say someone robbed a death row employee of a gold necklace emblazoned with the company logo. They say it's just one of a series of incidents that would lead to the death of Tupac Shakur. Tupac was rarely seen without a big gold or diamond necklace, but this flashy accessory may have been a trophy to some. Rumor has it there was even a bounty on necklaces worn by death row employees. Remember this medallion Tupac was wearing the night of the murder? Well, sources tell us that someone tried to snatch it off his neck. We're told Tupac spotted the man who tried to rob him. That's the reason for the scuffle and perhaps the murder. After Tupac's death, gang violence in the Compton area of Los Angeles increased dramatically.
There were probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen shootings, at least one of which was a homicide. May have been two.
Police struck back with Operation Heatwave, rounding up suspected gang members. Las Vegas detectives came along looking for leads. Among those arrested was this man, Orlando Anderson, who quickly became linked to the Tupac case. Why did his name emerge above all others?
He's a person that we were just interested in talking to.
Can you say why you were interested in him specifically?
No.
No.
But America's Most Wanted has since learned that Orlando Anderson was, in fact, the man who tried to grab Tupac's necklace the night he was murdered, placing him squarely in the middle of the controversy. And remember this footage at the MGM Grand? The earlier portion of this tape was shown in court this week during a hearing for Suge Knight on an unrelated matter. Knight looked on as the video portrayed him pummeling none other than Orlando Anderson. Police have not charged Anderson, but sources say he's not been ruled out as a suspect. Because of the reluctance of witnesses, police think they could get a lot further with this case if there were a reward.
There has been nothing offered by Death Row Record, which is a multi-million-dollar business.
What does that tell you?
Well, either someone doesn't care or they're going to deal with it in their own way. I know that some of these witnesses idolize this man, but they obviously didn't care for him enough to help bring in his murderers. And it's a pretty sad state of affairs.
Lena's joining us now right here in the crime center. Baffling case, Lena.
It really is.
Can you tell us what's the significance of the attempt to steal Tupac's medallion?
Well, the way it's been explained to me, it's not so much that it was an expensive medallion, and it was. It was huge, gold, big chain, but it was to try and get it while Tupac's standing there with his bodyguard in a very public place. That's humiliation. That's diss. And the way it's been explained to me, that's the problem.
Challenge, almost.
Very much so.
Now, there's been a lot of talk in the media lately about Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records.
Correct.
Tupac's label. Tupac made a lot of money for that label. There's talk about Crips and Blood, rivalry with Bad Boy Records. Why hasn't Suge Knight put out a reward for Tupac's killer?
That's a very good question. I haven't been able to ask Suge Knight because I've tried to interview him through his publicist, through his lawyer, and we haven't been able to arrange for one. The cops say that if somebody did come forward with a reward, it would make a big difference because witnesses are very afraid to come forward. And the police believe that there are witnesses out there. We're talking about a very crowded place. This is just off the Las Vegas Strip. There are a lot of people traveling around there, but people are afraid.
Well, the police are saying they're either afraid or they don't want to cooperate.
Right.
Wouldn't you hope that someone would have the guts to call this hotline because they can remain anonymous and solve this case?
Someone needs to come forward because that's the only way this case will be solved.
Good job, Lena.